Hey everybody, Mike back again with another section of my music video collection. Part 1 was VHS, Part 2 was my Blu-rays, and Part 3 is my music DVDs, which is, again, I'm keeping notes, taking me quite a while. This is actually Part 3F, so this is the 5th part of my music DVDs. In the first 4 we've gotten through 68, so we'll start off this. We ended with the MCs, Paul McCartney and Don McLean. So we'll start this off with alphabetically my 69th. Ding, 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 ding. 69. Woohoo! How's that for juvenile humor, folks? Yeah, so my 69th alphabetical. So we're still on the M's, and we start off with a much maligned artist. But again, I make no apologies. I think I saw, yeah, it was Brandon. It was Skinslip who made a recent video talking about how he didn't like the term guilty pleasures, and I agree with him because he made a really astute comment when he said that every movie, and I think this translates to songs and artists as well, but he said every movie deserves at least one fan. So never apologize for what you like. And hell, I started this whole DVD collection off with Air Supply, and it just happened to start that way because AI was first alphabetically, but sure, there's some corny stuff, but I don't think this is anywhere near as corny, and I won't apologize because I do like this guy, and it is Meatloaf. And this is one of those unlicensed documentaries that you see, and this is basically the making of his first album, 1977's Bat Out of Hell. I see a ton of writing there from Eagle Vision Media. It has a 60-minute running time. Has a chapter selection there. Things like Getting Started, Hitting the Charts, In Retrospect. It's basically, you know, it's got archive footage, interviews, live performances. And it basically just goes over the making of this album. And, you know, this is his first album, and he broke big. He broke big with Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, which I'm really not a fan of. I'm a fan more of his ballads. So, you know, on this album, I really like 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad and Heaven Can Wait. Ballads like that. And you might be surprised to find out that I have about 4 or 5 more. Next is Bat Out of Hell, the original tour from Rock Palace, which is a German TV show. I had a Harry Chapin DVD from Rock Palace. I had an the band America DVD from Rock Palace. I think I had a few more, or I have a few more coming up. And this is from that time, 1978. Yep, 78. And this has a 90-minute running time. And Great Boleros of Fire, it starts off with, and Bat Out of Hell, you took the words right out of my mouth. All revved up with no place to go. Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, band introductions, 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad, and there's a bonus feature, interviews with Meatloaf and Jim Steinman. Now, Jim Steinman is the guy who wrote all the songs on almost all of Meatloaf's albums, definitely more than half, and all the songs on Bat Out of Hell 1 and 2, and about half of them on Bat Out of Hell 3. So this is a concert from Germany. There's the insert. It's just a little pamphlet thingy. And there's the band credits. And anybody who's a Kiss fan will recognize the Kulick name. Bruce Kulick was Kiss's guitarist who replaced Ace Frehley in the 80s. Well, his brother Bob Kulick also played on some Kiss sessions. And he was the guitarist for Meatloaf. So he is credited. If you can see that there, Bob Kulick on guitars. So, and like I said, this is 90-minute concert, less than a year after the album came out. So he only had one album to promote, and it was Bat Out of Hell. But these songs are long, and even though there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's only 7 songs, it takes up 90 minutes. So there's a lot of talking, a lot of cool footage in here. So this is a great piece of history. It goes way back. And then we fast forward about 20 years to Vh1 Storytellers Meatloaf. Okay, again released by Eagle Vision Media. There's the DVD, and there's the insert. Basically just that, with an advertisement on the back for the accompanying CD. And if anybody, and there's the back cover, by the way, and if anybody remembers VH1 Storytellers, it was a really cool program. It's, you know, an intimate setting where these artists, Billy Joel did one, I remember. I have that on tape. It was never released commercially, but I have it. I taped it on my VCR way back when, 97, I think, 98, something like that. But it's an intimate setting where the band, the singer, the band, whoever, the artist gets together and sings some songs and tells some stories. Now, they always edit the hell out of it for TV, so it fits into an hour minus commercials, which on VH1 is like 40 minutes, if that. So this is the unedited version. A lot of stuff that's on here didn't air on television. And it turns out Meatloaf is a really funny storyteller. I mean, he could have a second career as a stand-up comedian. He's got a lot of funny stories and a really cool personality. And there's some great songs on here. Bat Out of Hell 2 came out in 93. So, Bat Out of Hell 3 didn't come out until 2008, and this is from 1999. But he was promoting a new album at the time, and so he has songs from the two Bat Out of Hell albums that were out at the time, plus some other albums. Songs like Heaven Can Wait, Bat Out of Hell, 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad, A Kiss Is a Terrible Thing to Waste, I'd Do Anything for Love But I Won't Do That, Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through, plus stories, anecdotes, and commentary by Meatloaf. This has a running time of 100 minutes, so it's an hour and 40 minutes. And there are bonus features, 53 minutes not seen on television. So like I said, they edited back in those 53 minutes. It's in Dolby Digital 5.1 with lyrics and DVD-ROM playability as a special feature, so you can tell this is an older DVD. Then we have Meatloaf, 3 Bats Live. This is Meatloaf in concert to promote Bat Out of Hell 3, which I just mentioned came out in 2008. And he's always got very attractive girls singing backup with him. Look at those two. That's CC someone and someone else, but whatever. But these are some very hot ladies. Very hot ladies. And not only that, they sing beautifully. And if you know his music, he has to hit some really high registers, so I imagine that's hard every night. So he has these 2 females with him to kind of bolster the vocals. But like I said, in 2008, Bat Out of Hell 3 came out, hence 3 Bats Live. So the concert mainly focuses on songs from those 3 albums, but some other songs are mixed in. 2007, actually, I'm sorry. I keep saying 2008, but it's 2007. The running time of the concert is approximately 2.5 hours. 18 songs, including Gimme Shelter, Rolling Stones cover, which is pretty cool. And there's 3, as bonus features, there's 3 music videos. It's All Coming Back to Me Now, Cry Over Me, and The Monster Is Loose, which is an animated short film. Those are 3 songs from Bat Out of Hell 3. And, you know, the 18 songs, Life is a Lemon and I Want My Money Back, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through, Monsters Loose, Blind as a Bat, 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad, It's All Coming Back to Me Now. You know, and I really enjoy this stuff. If you listen to the lyrics, like I said, especially the ballads, they really get to me. And the final Meatloaf DVD is a companion piece to that. It's called Meatloaf in Search of Paradise. And you see the film festival there. Official selection of the Montreal... Oh, by the way, this concert was from London, Ontario, Canada. Not Toronto, not even Hamilton, but London, Ontario. Which was a great crowd, actually. This is really a good concert, and there's a lot of great feedback from the fans. You can tell it's a sold-out arena. It looks sold out, at least the way they film it. And this is a companion piece to that tour. This is not a performance DVD. It's a documentary, and it's all about this tour that promoting Bat Out of Hell 3, the album. Okay, and the two ladies were Carolyn C.C. Coletti and Aspen Miller. C.C. Coletti was the blonde, Aspen Miller was the brunette. Beautiful ladies, but a very talented band otherwise. And this DVD, In Search of Paradise, really interesting, came out a year later in 2008 when the tour was over. Actor, performer, and multi-platinum rock icon Meatloaf revealed surprising shades of himself and a fertile creative mind in constant flux. The time is early 2007, one of the most stressful in Meatloaf's career, when he is about to launch his most ambitious tour ever, an 18-month-long marathon to support Bat Out of Hell 3, the final album of the legendary Bat Out of Hell trilogy. So it's a really interesting look at the stuff that goes on behind the scenes in a rock tour. Certain points he has problems with his voice, and we see how that's handled. Just the life of a rock singer on the road, and an 18-month tour, and the director had all access pass, I guess, to film everything. And it's all here, so it's a very, very cool, very interesting documentary. And if you guys watch my channel, you know... Sorry, folks, the lighting went wonky. If you guys watch my channel, you know that I really enjoy documentaries of all stripes. And so, music documentaries especially. Sorry about that. Okay, that's fixed. I don't even know if that makes any difference at all, but... I try. This is hardly a professional operation, folks. Forgive me. Okay, now next we move into the ends. The only end that I have. But if you saw my VHS, you saw that I had a couple VHS by this band. And that is 9 Inch Nails. And this title is Beside You in Time. Very thin case. From 2007. In support of the Year Zero album. Here's the insert. In typical Trent Reznor fashion, it's just some weird kind of picture there. But I've seen 9 Inch Nails in concert for the first time in 1995 with opening for David Bowie, and I've seen them 8 or 10 times since. And yeah. There's no track list, there's no information on this DVD at all, so you have to watch it if you want to know, or have someone like me tell you if you care. But it is concert footage. And 9 Inch Nails, if you watch my videos and you see that I like Harry Chapin and Jim Croce, Simon and Garfunkel and Billy Joel and Cat Stevens and all these sensitive singer-songwriters, well, there's one thing, and probably only one thing, that links Trent Reznor and his band 9 Inch Nails to those guys, and that is the passion in the lyrics. The music is so different, but I really got into it around the very end of high school, beginning of college, 95, 96. By that time, they already had 3 albums out. Pretty Hate Machine Broken and The Downward Spiral, which was their biggest album, the one with Closer to God, I Wanna Fuck You Like an Animal, that whole song. But I was very much, to quote a Billy Joel song, I was very much an angry young man. And Trent Reznor's music spoke to me, still does, but the anger in it, the lyrics, everyone loved when Johnny Cash covered the song Hurt. I will let you down, I will make you hurt. If that song doesn't move you, you don't have a soul. The lyrics, at least, especially when Johnny Cash sings it, if you're not a Trent Reznor 9 Inch Nails fan. But anyone who's been through pain in their life can relate to a lot of these songs. And sometimes the music doesn't turn me on, as much as the lyrics. And the lyrics, really, I love the lyrics. I could rattle off so many examples, but this is just one DVD, and I don't want to focus the whole video on one DVD. But if you don't like Nine Inch Nails, or you think they're not for you, just go to one of those websites where they print the lyrics and just read lyrics from the Downward Spiral album, read lyrics from 1999's The Fragile album, this album, Year Zero from 2007. And if you've ever been heartbroken, if you've ever been hurt, if you've ever been angry, sad and angry at the same time, maybe some of these songs will speak to you. And then if you don't like the music, read it as poetry. I don't know. Anyway, that brings me to Phil Ochs. Now, this guy has been largely forgotten, but there was a time he was as important as Bob Dylan. Phil Ochs was a folk singer. Phil Ochs sung at the Newport Folk Festival. Phil Ochs wanted to make a difference. Phil Ochs was a singer-songwriter, an old folkie, and he hung himself with his own belt in 1976. And this is a documentary about his entire life. The ups, the downs, the daughter that he loved, the life that he lived, the politics that he realized were bullshit, but the ideals that he believed in. And in the mid-70s, in the Nixon era, even after Nixon had resigned, it was still Gerald Ford, and he just couldn't take it anymore. And his sister and his brother, if you've ever seen photos, rock and roll photos, and at the bottom it says Michael Ochs Archives, that's Phil Ochs' brother, Michael Ochs. He's a huge rock and roll photographer and photo archiver, so you might see the Michael Ochs name a lot. But his sister Sonny and his brother Michael and his daughter and his friends, they all talk about him. I mean, look at the names: Joan Baez, Billy Bragg, Christopher Hitchens, the great Christopher Hitchens, Sean Penn. Sean Penn has been trying to make a Phil Ochs movie for years, can't get it funded. Pete Seeger, Peter Yarrow from Peter, Paul, and Mary. These people are the most famous, but there's many more people in here, and they talk about Phil Ochs. And this has a running time of 97 minutes, and there's some color and black and white pictures of Phil. And I tell you guys, look him up on the internet. Harry Chapin wrote a song about him called There But For Fortune, and he wrote it just after Phil had hung himself. And Phil at the end became an alcoholic and became totally disillusioned. And it's a sad story at the end, but he did so much for so many people, and he wrote such great songs. He cared about the miners in Kentucky, and he cared about, he cared about the downtrodden, and he should still be around, because he would be at those 1%, 99% rallies, and he had a message of equality and humanity, and he sung about what it was like to be up, and he sung about what it was like to be down, and he was relatable. He never sold out. He never sold out. And he would fight with Dylan. There's a great story about Phil and Bob Dylan driving in the car, and Dylan threw Phil out of the car, and Phil had to walk home because they were arguing, and Phil was calling him a sellout for playing electric and changing his style. Whether you agree with that or not, this is such a great documentary. It's called Phil Ochs, There But For Fortune, which is the title of one of his best songs. And the Harry Chapin song, I'm sorry, it's not called There But For Fortune. In the Harry Chapin song, he uses a lot of Phil's song titles as lyrics. The Harry Chapin song is called The Parade Still Passing By. But There But For Fortune, say A Small Circle of Friends, that was another title outside of A Small Circle of Friends. He wrote about the Kitty Genovese stabbing. If you don't know what that is, look that up. Kitty Genovese. Um, a woman was stabbed and no one came to her aid. You know, people just walked on by. Didn't, you know, he cared about things. He was an American hero, and he felt like the world let him down, so he left us, and he left us far too early. He had much more to say, and just like Harry Chapin and Jim Croce, the best just leave too early. But he left behind stacks and stacks of records, and you should look into this guy if you don't know him. There's not a ton of footage on YouTube, but there's some. Check him out. Read about him. Be passionate about things. I'm passionate about this. Alright, so we move on to something I'm much less passionate about. Something that would fall into that category of something I like but don't love. I'm not a huge heavy metal fan, but I do like Ozzy Osbourne live and loud. And this is from 93. So I remember I had these cassette tapes as a kid. And I'm not a huge heavy metal fan, but I do like Ozzy. Oh, there's that Sony DVD catalog again. And we see this is one of those old, annoying flipper discs. Alright. So this program is from 1993. So, but I did used to have the cassettes. I don't have them anymore, I don't think. But this is Ozzy in concert. Side 1 has 11 songs. Side 2 has 9. So 20 songs. Running time. 112 minutes. So almost 2 hours you get. And there's some Black Sabbath songs, some Ozzy solo songs. Good stuff. You know, Flying High Again, Suicide Solution, Goodbye to Romance, Shot in the Dark, No More Tears, Crazy Train, Changes, Bark at the Moon. I really like Ozzy. I mean, Ozzy now. I mean, when he turned into the Osbournes and we saw his family on TV and the reality show, didn't like it. But when he was in Black Sabbath and during the 80s, the hair metal time, he was the king. I mean, regardless of his goofy-ass personal life, he really defined Black Sabbath especially. I mean, they created heavy metal, in my opinion. And they have to be respected for that, whether you like heavy metal or not. And as you can tell by my collection, I'm not the hugest heavy metal fan, but I really do like Black Sabbath, and I really do like Ozzy Osbourne. He's been on autopilot maybe the past 15, 20 years, but this is right at the end of his best creative period in the very early 90s. So, something to check out there. Now, this takes us to a band that, another one of those quote-unquote newer bands that I got turned on to in high school. Now, I'm an old man. I'm 38 years old, born in 77. So new music to me was music that came out in the late 80s or 90s. And this band released their first album, I believe it was like 91, I believe, their first album, 10. And that is Pearl Jam. And this is one of their first released DVDs. It's called Pearl Jam Touring Band 2000. And that's exactly what it says it is. It's them touring in the year 2000. There's the set list. You can see it's very long. There's the songs. There's the encore. And there's the songs they did in the encore. This is fairly long. You can tell it's old because it has one of these cases that you just don't see anymore, where it opens up like that. And it's actually a letter from Eddie Vedder dated Valentine's Day 2001, and at the top it says, "Please play this movie loud." If you can see that. But this has some great songs. I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan. I've seen them in concert a number of times. Corduroy, Given to Fly, Nothing as It Seems, Daughter, Don't Call Me Daughter, good stuff. Better Man, Nothing Man. Nothing Man is my favorite Pearl Jam song. You know, once divided, there's nothing left to subtract. He who forgets will be destined to remember. Nothing man, nothing man. Could have been something, nothing man. Insignificance. I got shit. Rearview mirror. Once you were in my rearview mirror. Great song. Jeremy, one of their first hits. And as they often do, they end with one of my top 5 artists, Neil Young, Rockin' in the Free World. They did an album with Neil Young, and every concert I've seen them in, they've ended with Rocking in the Free World. Keep on rocking in the free world. Yeah, so this is great. I haven't told you the running time, probably because I can't find it. Jesus. Well, I really don't see it, folks, and I do know where to look, even on the disc. Such small print. Getting old. That's not on here. But I can assure you, with this many songs, it's probably about 2 hours. And this is really good. Okay, so that's 2000. Fast forward a couple years. Pearl Jam, Live at the Garden, 2003, I believe. Let's be sure. 2003, yep. Okay. And there's the back. Song list. Bonus features. Bonus features are just more songs. And look at this song list. Just as long as the last one. Slipcase. Take it out. Boom, boom. Okay. Pearl Jam in New York City. Live at the Garden, of course, meaning Madison Square Garden. 7/8/03. So July 8th, 2003. The back cover of that. Just some photos. Open it up. And this is a 2-disc set. No insert or anything. Just what's on disc 1 and what's on disc 2. And so the first disc there, the first one was from 2000. This is from 2003. So it's much the same, except by then they had 1 or 2 more albums out. And again, just another great concert. You know, I Am Mine, Black, Spin the Black Circle, Rearview Mirror, Daughter, with guest Ben Harper, another good singer. Baba O'Reilly, they cover. Yellow Ledbetter, Dead Man. They cover Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Crown of Thorns, Thumbing My Way, Last Exit, Even Flow. Great songs on here, 2 discs. What is it with Pearl Jam? They don't print running times. Can't find the running time on this either. One last chance, look at the disc. Nope, no running time. But anyway, if it's 2 discs and all these songs, again, it's got to be a couple hours, right? So, good stuff. Fast forward 4 more years, we have Pearl Jam, Imagine in Cornice. This is Pearl Jam. This is a really nice case there from 2007. This is not as long. See, the song list is much shorter. Do they have a running time on this? Nope. Once again, no. But it does have one of those booklets that don't come out. And it's just full of photos from the tour. Really nice. And it's got like a really nice like matte finish. You can hear that. You know, it's not real super glossy, but lots of good stuff. And great songs on here. Worldwide Suicide, Life Wasted. And this was in support of their 2006 album, their eponymous album, Pearl Jam. Funny that it took them until 2006 to name an album just Pearl Jam. A lot of bands, you know, their first album is just called, you know, Pearl Jam, or Nirvana's first album, Nirvana, Billy Joel's first album, Billy Joel. I know that's not the case, but you get my point. Pearl Jam, it took them 15 years into their career to make an album just called Pearl Jam. But they had great songs on there called Worldwide Suicide, Life Wasted, Come Back. Some older songs like Corduroy, Alive, Better Man, Even Flow. And again, they end with Rockin' in the Free World. So great stuff from Pearl Jam here. Okay. Dropping stuff. Alright. Then we go way back to the 60s. Another great folk band, Peter, Paul, and Mary. Carry It On, and the 25th anniversary concert. We'll do this one first. Peter, Paul, and Mary. That's Peter Yarrow, Noel, Paul, N-O-E-L, Noel, like Merry, Happy Noel, Christmas, that's his name. Noel, Paul Stuckey, and Mary Travers, who just passed away a couple years ago. Peter and Paul are still with us, thankfully. So Peter Yarrow, Paul Stuckey, and Mary Travers. And this is from 1986. Shout Factory. Both of these, I believe. But yep, no. This one's from Shout Factory. Shout Factory always does a good job. No insert, just the disc. But in 1986, I want to say, yes, 1986, taped before a live audience at the Tennessee Performing Arts Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Shows how long they've been around. 1961, they started together. So and this has been on PBS many times. I remember seeing it growing up very much. This special, this 25th anniversary concert, and they're very famous folk singers, and they're great. They have written some great songs. They have covered some great songs. They've covered songs ranging from Phil Ochs, Bob Dylan. They've even covered Billy Joel's Summer Highland Falls, I have on CD. They do great cover versions. You'll know them from Puff the Magic Dragon. I'm sure everyone knows that song and think they know what it's about, even though it's not about that. But Weave Me the Sunshine, great Weavers song. Blowin' in the Wind, This Land Is Your Land, the great Woody Guthrie song. El Salvador, one of their own songs. Right Field, Where Have All the Flowers Gone, Such As Love, Kisses Sweeter Than Wine, The Wedding Song, Weave Me the Sunshine, John Denver's Leaving on a Jet Plane, If I Had a Hammer. 19 songs, 88 minute, hour and a half. Great concert. And this is from Rhino home video. Peter, Paul, and Mary, Carry It On. And this is more of a documentary. Okay? And there is an insert here, but it's just very minimal. Literally blank on one side. And this side is just the chapter selections. And this is a documentary that everything you've ever wanted to know about Peter, Paul, and Mary is condensed into this 80-minute documentary about them. There are performances, there are partial performances, and there are even a few full song performances, but it's mostly a documentary. This did premiere on PBS, and it talks about their involvement in the 60s on, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way to today. These people are still fighting for the good causes, just like Harry Chapin and Phil Ochs and countless other people, even Billy Joel fighting for the fishermen in Long Island Sound. They have causes. Talks about their involvement with civil rights and how they marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Talks about their anti-nukes, how they helped try to disarm the nuclear bombs. It talks about in the 80s their stance against our involvement in El Salvador and how that was wrong. See the Oliver Stone movie Salvador for more on that, or just read some actual history. And through their singing they got involved, and through their involvement they came up with some great songs. And there's great songs on here, some that I already mentioned on this 25th anniversary concert. If I Had a Hammer, Lemon Tree, The Wedding Song, Like the First Time, El Salvador, Puff the Magic Dragon, We Shall Overcome, great civil rights anthem. This Land Is Your Land, For Baby, For Bobby, another John Denver song. Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out with Dave Van Ronk, another great folk singer. Don't Laugh at Me, Jesus is on the Wire, If I Had a Hammer. Pieces, some are in pieces, some are full songs, but it talks about all the stuff I just mentioned. So, okay. Well, let's finish Peas and we'll end this video, this segment of the video. Our last artist in this video will be the king himself, Elvis Presley. And I have two videos here from, what is this from? Well, these are re-releases of That's the Way It Is and This Is Elvis. Both 2-disc special editions with slipcovers. Alright, the first one is Elvis, That's the Way It Is. Okay, and this is a 1970 theatrical movie. And disc 1 is the 2001 special edition. It's got a great book in here, and I say book because as far as DVD inserts go, this might as well be a book. It's very thick. Again, with that scratchy matte finish. Not really anything to read, but tons of cool photos of Elvis. And disc 1 is the 2001 special edition. Disc 2 is the original 1970 movie. And they've restored it. Disc 2 also has a dozen never-before-seen outtake songs and some deleted non-musical sequence scenes. This is rated PG. The special edition is 96 minutes. So they actually cut it down because the original theatrical version is 108 minutes. And this is Elvis in the summer of 1970. And again, a documentary. This was released theatrically back in 1970. A lot of great concert footage, a lot of great backstage footage. There's interviews with fans, interviews with Elvis himself. And what's really cool, it does present the original version, the theatrical version, and then the 2001 special edition. So there's lots to see on here. And its companion piece is This Is Elvis. These came out at the same time, obviously, because there's a whole series of these. A lot of his movies came out in this format. This is rated PG, and this is kind of the same thing. It's the same kind of booklet here. Again, with no reading, but tons of material, photo material. And it was a 1981 theatrical movie, and that's disc 1. And disc 2 is the 1983 unrated expanded video version. So it was released to video in 1983. So this was a memorial movie they made. Of course, Elvis died in August of '77. And so this was made 7 years before he died. This was made 4 years after. I was 4 when this came out. I vaguely remember my mom talking about this. She is a huge Elvis fan. Disc 1, the 1981 theatrical version, never before on video in a new digital transfer. There's a vintage featurette, Behind the Gates of Graceland.